and welcome to the second class of Decoding the Siddur. I want to begin by doing something that we did not do last week, which is I want to do a quick go around the room, very, very quick. Make sure everybody knows each other. So say your names and what your interest is in this particular class, because I want to make sure that we accomplish that so that your time is well spent. So in the upper left-hand corner, we have Irv and Riva. You guys want to go first?
Any more Hebrew that I can learn, I'll love.
And I amazingly came here an hour before I normally come home, so I'm grateful to be here and get a little more Hebrew.
Okay. Bruce, Carla?
So sorry, you're someone's back to me outside our door, but I really would like to be able to read the prayers in the prayer book and be able to say all the words.
Okay.
Your
Bruce?
I just want to improve my ability to read all the words. You know, especially the vowels. They changed since when I was a kid. There seem to be new ones popping up all the time.
Well, vowels are a little more complicated than what they usually teach in Hebrew school, which is why I want you to know them. But I will say that the vowels are typically the thing that holds people back. The consonants usually people digest fairly easily. It's the vowels that people have trouble with. So the more time you get to spend with those vowels in the app, I think it'll help a lot. All right, on to the next person, Pete Schild.
Yes, what I found interesting for myself was that when I attended Minyan virtual this evening, I was acutely aware of the vowels, having studied them some during this week. When I was reading the prayers this evening, it was just that much sharper for me. I found it very useful.
It's like when you shop for a new car, you decide what car you're going to get, and all of a sudden that's all you see on the roads. You never even noticed them before, right?
Right, exactly.
All right, Larry.
Oh, I'm just trying to improve my Hebrew reading skills.
Okay. And Alan?
I want to read faster and to be able to keep up with whoever's davening.
I agree with that, to be able to, keep at the same speed as the congregation is going.
That is a tricky issue, because the speed the congregation is going is not necessarily the speed that the leader is going.
Well, I meant the leader. I don't know who you meant.
Yeah, I'll go for the leader as well.
Well, we'll talk about. We kind of talked about that in our evening classes about the speed. I'll just reiterate very quickly, and then we'll go on. That the cantor's job is to set the pace, but your job is just to know what the cantor is doing. So if you want to keep up, you can. But if you don't want to keep up, at least you'll know where the cantor is, and you can always, go join in whenever you want to, or you can hang out where you are and just be comfortable with the place you're at in the Siddur. That's ultimately the place that I want people to go, because oftentimes I will not daven what everybody else is davening. I'll sit with the prayer. I'll sit with the words. I'll join in for the Shema, and then I'll go back to the prayer I was looking at before, join in for the Kedusha again when it's time. I don't always daven everything that everybody's doing, except for the parts that, that we're supposed to do together, like the Shema and the Kedusha.
Been doing that.
Okay.
Been doing that instinctively.
You're doing it all right then. You're doing it just right. All right, Sarah.
Yeah, I want to get better with the prayer book. I mean, I can follow a page, but if I do what you just said and I get involved in a prayer, then I have trouble picking up where everybody is when I look back, when I look for where they're in the book.
We aim to fix that. We aim to fix that. All right, very good. Marty.
I guess improve the reading skills. That's number one.
Okay. Is it Evelyn or Eveline?
It's Evelyn.
Evelyn. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to get better at reading and to just be more knowledgeable about the prayer book.
Okay. All right. William.
How you doing? I guess I agree with what everyone else says, and I'm with them.
All right. Claire. Claire's muted. Claire, if you want to unmute yourself, you're welcome to do so. We're gonna, rather than wait, we're gonna go on. You can just jump in whenever you get a chance. All right, so I tested my presentation software with my phone and a Zoom the other day, and I saw this blue dot. Are you seeing the blue dot circling?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yay, it's working today. Okay,
yes.
I am so pleased. All right, so again, we are not going to go over every sound in the class. My goal is for you to use the book for the sounds and the app. So if the app is not giving you enough to know how the sound, what sound each letter makes or what each vowel makes, then you need to tell me so that I make sure that you have that information. Because otherwise you're not going to be able to reinforce any of that during the week, okay? But what I want to show you right now is just you take a couple of letters and put them together with a bunch of different vowels. So this letter here that we have, I'm gonna move is there a gray bar kind of up here moving around? Does anybody see a gray bar?
No.
No,
No?
All right,
you
there
see the blue dot.
okay.
Yes.
The blue dot is under the letter that sounds like t, like a T, sounds like a T, sounds like t. Okay, without a vowel under it, that's all the sound it makes. T. With a vowel, this vowel is ah. So t, t, and ah make ta.
Ta.
This vowel also sounds like ah. So t and ah is ta again. Over here,
Eh.
here and here, we're going to see these two vowels. We're going to say they both sound like a. This is te and te. Truly, this one here is more like like the in bed. But if you say them the same, they go by so fast. And Israelis really say them the same. So we're going to say them the same. This one here, I called the most important vowel. What I really meant to say last week is that it's the most important vowel to understand because it does have so many different rules associated with when it's pronounced versus when it's silent. So this, when it's under a letter like this, it's going to always be an So this is t, and makes t. Okay, in the middle, but in the middle of a word, sometimes this will just be t. It's going to be, we're going to go over all the special cases. So you don't have to worry about it right now, but I want you to know it's coming. For now, just look at this and you would say t. Okay, this is t with o.
Oh,
This
toe.
is toe. And we're going to take a very close look at this vowel tonight because this vowel is also a consonant. It does double duty. Sometimes it's a consonant, sometimes it's a vowel. And what makes it confusing, really confusing, is that sometimes it's both at the same time. Okay, so we'll look at that. The word mitzvah is actually the best example of a word where it's both at the same time. This one here is also to. So with the vav, this line vowel there, or without that dot, it's to, to. Here we have T. This is tu.
Two.
This is also tu. And finally, we have ta. The hey, this sounds like just like an H sound. When it's at the end of a word, in combination with this vowel, it's totally silent. We need it for grammatical purposes, but we don't need it for pronunciation purposes. It doesn't change this ah sound. Here, finally, we have
T.
We have the T again. Sounds exactly like this one, even though it's got this extra letter here. We're going to look at that tonight as well. Okay, next, go on to the next page. And is it going to let me do it? Is it going to let me do it? Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, what happened there? Oh, okay. I have to be, this is what I didn't practice.
Mike, just to have a moment of levity, if you want to say tuchus,
Oh, there we go.
would it be the tough with the two dots under, or would it be a tough with the ah sound, like tachat, like a seed or a tuchus?
Tuchus is actually Yiddish.
It's Yiddish, but if you were writing, would it be the two dots for tuchus?
It's tachat. It's
Yiddish dots.
You
Got
get
it.
shut down, Irv.
I just wanted to put a little levity here.
very nice. Very, very well levitated. All right, so let's go on to this page here. We have all the main letters with the A sound. So let's go through them. What I want you to do, I want us to do it all together. And in order to do it, what? Go back. Okay. What I want us to do though is I want you all to mute yourselves so that we don't be distracting each other, and that you hear my voice and we all do it together the same way. Okay. So is everybody, if everybody's muted?
Yes.
Okay.
Larry, can you get your mute on there if you can? Oh, you're already muted. I don't see it. Sorry, my bad. All right, so we're gonna go like that kind of pace. A, bay, bay, gay, day, hey, they, zay, hey. That's a tough one because that's that letter that nobody knows how to do because we don't have it in English. It's we'll work on it. We'll work on it. Just it's hey. Okay, keep going. Tay, yay, K, Chay, lay, may, nay, say, a, pay, fay, say, K, ray, or ray, shay, say, tay, tay. And what you notice, if you have your Aleph Bina book in there, you'll notice that there's a whole series of pages that have the whole alphabet with each vowel underneath it, just like this. So it'll be a, ba, va, ga, da. Really, really, really good practice to go through those pages, one vowel at a time. Of course, you need to get your consonants, down. It'll be really good practice at the consonants also. But let's go on to the next page. You can unmute yourself if you want. All right, so what we've just done, every single letter vowel combination we just made is an example of what's called an open syllable. And all that means is that it's a consonant followed by a vowel sound. Notice that I do not say a consonant followed by a vowel. It's a consonant followed by a vowel sound. And we will see why that's important in just a minute, okay? So this letter here is V, okay? Just V, like a V. If we put that under it, it becomes V. Is V an example of an open syllable? Somebody jump in. That's an actual question.
Yes,
Is-
because it ends in the vowel sound.
Correct. Is a vowel sound. It's called a schwa, and that is a perfectly legitimate vowel sound in Hebrew. Okay. If we put the under it, what does that become? Va, exactly. Open syllable?
Yes.
Open syllable, exactly. Okay, let's look at another one. How about this?
Va.
Va again, okay? We're gonna go through a series of letters and vowel combinations in a kind of, there's a specific order to it that hopefully you'll kind of see what we're trying to do here. So this is va.
La.
La, la,
Lay.
lay, exactly, lay.
It's lay and not le.
Yeah, we're going with A.
A. Okay.
A. For all the sounds that have two dots side by side. A. Okay.
Like EH or AH.
I would go with, well, it's closer to AY.
AY.
Yeah,
AY. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is lay,
A.
nay. Yep, like the horse sound.
Eh.
Yep, you could go with ne, or you could stick with nay, and nobody will ever correct you.
Say.
They. Or that.
Ze, ze. Okay,
Z.
Z.
Z, very good.
C.
C, C, exactly.
Day.
Zoo. Zoo.
Sue.
Sue, Sue, yes, like the girl's name, Sue.
Shoe.
Zoo.
Shoe, very good. Now, the best way I've ever been taught to recognize the difference between s and sh is that the letter's name, this letter's name is sin. And a sin is never right. Get it? Okay. So that's how you tell the difference. So this is shoe.
Only when I have trouble.
Look like a shoe.
Shoe.
Shoe, also shoe.
Shoe.
Coo.
Coo, very good. Coo.
Co.
Co.
Oh, excellent.
Co.
Oh,
Co, good. Okay. Now, we've only done a few open syllables, but now I want to look at some two-syllable words with just open syllables. And this is why, by the way, I wanted you to use the Aleph Bina book, because it's the only book that I've ever seen, only Hebrew reading book that actually has a clear delineation when it starts. Hey guys, I'm teaching here. When it has a clear delineation when it starts mixing open syllables with closed syllables. Almost everything up to a certain point are words that are just open syllables, which is consonant, vowel sound, consonant, vowel sound, consonant, vowel sound. Makes it really easy to learn how to read your first words. So here we have two open syllables. What's this first one? This is k. K. The b is very similar. It has a little tail over here.
Oh, my
Without the-
problem is all of our pictures are, I was guessing on it. Because our screens are covering up the, that helps. Okay.
Okay. So this is k, and what's this one?
Oh.
Mo. So anyone want to guess what it sounds like together?
Oh,
Kimo. Yep. And you see it right here. Kimo.
There's dollar at the end, you have a commode.
Kimo.
Nelson.
I can't read.
Shy, my son's Shy sitting underneath me. He says Komodo dragon. No, it's not Komodo dragon. All right. Oh, I didn't want to go back. Okay. Here's the next one. What do we have here? What's the first syllable?
yeah.
Yeah.
R,
Say.
Okay.
say.
Say.
Ritz,
Wow. What's that?
say. Okay. Am I going too fast for anybody? Is this good? This is making sense?
There's only like 5 letters I confuse.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one.
Let's say.
What's this one?
No.
Yeah.
No.
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 But no. Means like
Exactly. Bino. Bino. Okay.
son or something.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Here's the one where we're going to stop for a second, but let's do it first. What is this? Eh,
Who?
say it again.
Who?
Behu. Okay, so now what's the problem with the second syllable?
It has a sound.
That's a silent aleph at the end.
It has a silent aleph at the end. Is the aleph a consonant or a vowel?
No,
It's actually a vowel. Oh, consonant.
Consonant.
It's a
It's a
silent consonant.
It is a silent consonant. So that is why the rule about open syllables is that it ends with a vowel sound, oo, and not a vowel. Because this syllable does not end with a vowel. It ends with a consonant, but it still has a vowel, ends with a vowel sound. So aleph is a very, very tricky one. Also, hey, when there's a hey there, hey is also a consonant. So, but we're interested in where's the vowel sound. If it ends with a vowel sound, it's an open syllable. And if we know what's open and eventually what's closed, that will enable us to decode any word that we come across, no matter how long it is. Okay.
Mike, is an ayin also silent all the time?
Ayin is, in modern Hebrew, ayin is considered silent. But you'll still hear some, Mizrahi Jews, they actually do pronounce it. I can't even begin to get it right, so I'm not even going to try. It's like almost like a swallowing, like a I and it's a very guttural sound that they don't really teach you how to make in modern Hebrew. Let's keep going. Oh, why does it keep doing that? Okay, here's another one.
Ooh.
Meh.
Yeah. Hey.
Right, nite. Okay, now here's our friend. We'll call him Yud since that's his name. Our friend Yud here does not change the sound. We talked last week about how most of the time when they add Yud as a compound vowel, it actually doesn't do anything. I mean, it does grammatically. It has a very important purpose grammatically, but it doesn't change the sound in most cases. The only time it does change the sound is when there's an ah here, either the line or the one that looks like a T. If there's an ah there, then it will be I. Or if there's an O right in here, it would be oi or ui. But if it's just an A, 2 dots, 3 dots, however many dots it is, it's not going to change anything. If it's a 1 dot, the E sound is not going to change anything. We'll see more examples of that as we go. Okay, let's do this one.
Yo.
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 Yo,
Exactly, D-O,
yo.
D-O. Okay, next one.
Good.
Below.
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 Right, below. Here we have our consonant friend, Aleph, who's still an open syllable, even though he's a consonant. Okay, now here's the homework for this part of the lesson. You're
Are
gonna
the consonants male or female? You said he, but in Hebrew and some languages.
That was very
are male
politically-
and female.
That was
Is-
very politically incorrect of me. There's no such
No,
thing
I
as
didn't mean it
male or female
that. Do they
consonants.
have genders?
Words do. but
Do the vowels have genders?
Vowels do not have genders, but words do.
Of
Thank you.
tet
Words.
to
Lamed.
lamed tet.
All right, so yes, so when you now let's take a look at Aleph Bina, because I think I put the, yeah. So here's Kaf Tet. It's page 29, and it looks like this. Okay, and you're gonna go to this page, Samech Hey, just 65. Is that what I said in the originally?
It's a lot.
Kaf Tet and Lamed Tet. Why did I put a Samech Tet? Oh, I think I changed my mind. So the reason I changed my mind is because here I don't want you to, like, here you can play around with the three syllable words. There's a couple of them here on this page if you get this far. But otherwise these are everything up until between those 2 pages. It's either open syllables or 2-syllable two open syllable words. Lots of really, really, really good practice. And you don't need to do everything. Just do whatever you feel is enough to give you the idea and get you comfortable with both the consonants and the vowels themselves, as well as putting together the 2-syllable words. It seems like you guys have been doing great tonight. I can hear you all, and it sounds like everybody's getting it. So that's a great start. So anything between those 2 pages, not all of it, but anything. You want to do all of it, you've got the time, great. If you don't have the time, just do whatever you can. And it's all good practice.
Could you repeat the pages
Wrote it down.
between which pages again?
Yeah, it's between Kaf Tet 29 and Samech Hey 65. I think I was on this page. I think I made a mistake. It's not Lamed Tet, it's Samech Hey. I decided to go further.
I wrote it down, but
Okay. I can also send you guys this presentation. If you want.
29 to 60.
I think it'll help. I can send it. All right, let's keep going.
Dagesh. Oh, I remember Dagesh.
Yeah, I can.
Dagesh.
Mararo. Dagesh.
All right.
I remember
So Dagesh, it's that dot that you see inside letters. Some letters, but not all letters, can have a dot in the middle. Most of the time, that dot will not change the pronunciation of the letter, but sometimes it will. And we're going to go over those cases tonight. So let's look at a few letters with dagesh. So here is the ol sound. You put a dagesh in the middle, and it's still ol. Doesn't change anything. Okay, grammatically, it means a lot. Pronunciation-wise, doesn't mean anything. Here's another one. You've got And this is also even with the dot in it. Okay,
So, wouldn't it?
here's another one. This is
Yeah.
and this is
That would be
I
no.
heard somebody say n. I just want to make sure that that's only n if there's the schwa under here, which there isn't. Like, try to get used to the pure sounds of the letters, so that we don't get confused.
When you say "n," the sound comes through. Sometimes when you say it the way you like to say it without any vowels, it's hard to pick up the sound.
Well, yeah, I mean, partially because we're on Zoom, but there's some letters you can't actually say without the like you can't make a B sound, a B, or a D sound, a D, or a G. I think that's it. Oh, we'll see. Those are called plosives? No, P is a plosive. B is a plosive. All right, whatever. All right, let's keep going. Here we have
Never seen the yud with a dot.
Yep, yud can have a dot.
First.
Yud can definitely have a dot. You will see it. Okay, so here we have ya, and this is also
Yeah.
ya. Okay. All right, now we're on to our trickiest letter. There is no letter trickier than this. So this we've learned is ooh. But guess what? When it's a consonant, it can take a dagesh and still sound like a V. So that leads to some very interesting things. It means that the is the same as the. Now, what's interesting here is that there's a clue here that the one here on the right is the and not oo. Who can tell me what the clue is?
Because it has the gesh under it.
Say that again.
Because it has
You
the.
wouldn't,
the
oh,
gesh-
you wouldn't have a vowel under a vowel.
That's right. You won't have a vowel under a vowel. So that's your telltale sign. So this is the, same as this. Let's look at it, another combination. So this V.
Thumb.
No.
Englishman here?
So this is V, va, and what's this one? Ve. Exactly. Okay, in this case, this dot is just a dagesh. It's got grammatical significance, no pronunciation significance, and we know that because of the vowel right under here. Okay, but that's not the only place we find vowels, is it? No, we find vowels next to consonants. How do you pronounce this?
Oh, I've got to go first. I'd say voo.
Voo. I heard a couple of voos. Do we hear anything else?
If you did that, or it's voo.
Ooh, we would make.
Well, you had said before that the vowel comes after the consonant last week. So this would be voo.
That's
Under
correct.
that rule.
That is correct. That is correct. Now, I will tell you that oo, we will see oo at the beginning of a word preceding a consonant. It's the only such vowel that can do that. It usually means and, but we're not going to deal with that yet. So we're not going to see those cases yet, but I'll just tell you that that's something to look forward to. So for now, this is voo. Okay, let's look at something else. Sorry?
Repeat that.
That's
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was vu. What is this?
Vu.
Vu, right? It's exactly the same. No difference in how it's pronounced, just in how it looks. Okay? What's this?
Ooh.
Vu. So this one's a little, it seems tricky because it looks like this is oo with another oo under it. Looks like ooh, ooh, but it's not. It's just vu, just like the others. How do you pronounce this?
Oh,
Oh.
Exactly.
Vowel.
I heard vavo.
Vowel.
Though.
oh,
Vo.
Oh.
Why can it not? Why can it not be vavo? What would it have to look like if it was vavo?
You would
it's a
need,
vowel.
you'd need another vowel.
2 dots underneath.
You'd have to
Right.
have an olive in between.
Ah, I could have an olive, but I heard somebody else say I'd have to have a vowel under here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So without the vowel here, this is the vowel for this consonant. So it sounds like what?
Vowel.
Vo. Exactly. How does this sound?
Oh,
Oh,
Vo. Exactly.
Oh.
And this?
Oh.
Vo. All right. So now we're getting into that point where the vowel is serving as its own consonant, except it's not in this case because this is just a v with an O on top. If it were after another letter like we had before, it would be, the whole thing would be O. In this case, it's vo. Okay,
Piece of stick.
let's
Look at
pronounce
oh,
Oh.
Though.
Oh.
whoa,
Though.
whoa.
Though.
Definitely is the trickiest letter.
Yeah, definitely the trickiest letter. So the answer is these are a what?
Oh.
They're all the same. They're all vo. Okay. By the way, this is not something you would normally ever see in the second lesson of a Hebrew class. Maybe
You just can't save us from the
When you call it a sin
tricky
pronunciation.
stuff.
Sorry.
I don't know if, I don't know, it may be crazy actually, practically starting with this, but it comes up so often. I just feel like I want to save you from all the confusion later by just making sure you see now that this letter is, has a lot of different possibilities that need to be taken into account. What's next? What do I have here next? Uh-oh, this is broken. What do I have next? Oh my gosh. It's broken.
Broken.
Your keyboard?
No, the presentation. There's supposed to be something there.
Maybe it's a previous version.
No, it's
empty.
It's empty, and I don't know why, because hold on, let me reload it and see if
We can go home.
Oh no, I'll make work
already.
What kind of teacher would I be if I didn't make work for you? All right, let's see, maybe it's here now. It's 55. There it is.
That feels great.
Oh, this is great. So this is I wanted to show you this because because Jaina is working on Torah reading for a few weeks from now for Vayikra, and this is one of the words that was in her aliyah. So this is a 3-syllable word. Let's figure out what the syllables are.
No.
No.
3 syllables.
No.
It's oh no.
Oh no.
Vowel.
It's oh no.
This does,
Oh no.
Okay, I hear lots of different answers. What's the first syllable?
Oh.
Wait.
ah,
Ah. First syllable is ah. What's the next syllable?
Vo.
Vo, right here.
Oh,
And the third syllable is
No.
No.
no. So
Avo, no.
avo, no, exactly. Okay, so it just so happened I was putting this together.
Avino, yes. Avo, no.
Avo, no. So I was putting this together, and Jaina came in with the question, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to show this to the class. This is perfect. So there you go. Okay. Now we'll get to the three letters that change their sound with a dagesh.
I have trouble with.
What are the sounds of these three letters as they appear?
V becomes
The-
and fe.
Yes. So I heard v, ch, and f. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And f.
So this, it sounds like V, like V. You put a dot in it. You can think of these, the top and bottom here, like lips. If you put a ball in between your lips, B, it makes it into a B. Okay. This, you put, you're putting into the, you got a ch sound. You can think of this as your tongue and your soft palate. Then when there's nothing in there, it just makes a ch sound. And if you put a ball in there again, you get a, it hardens the sound into a k.
That one I always get mixed up.
Okay.
Well, we'll work on that. We will work on that. All right. The next one is
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So it's almost, so it's like we've got these, like F is the F sound of the f is called a fricative. And when you put the ball in there in between your teeth and you explode it and turn it into a plosive. So, and, okay. So here's the one that's the other tricky letter. In modern Hebrew pronunciation, these two things sound the same. They both sound like t. But if you've ever heard people like Barry Mail or Al Davis laning or davening, they say this as s. Okay, they call this sav. Makes a sound. In Ashkenazi, this is s. And in Sephardic, modern Hebrew pronunciation, it sounds like t. These are the same. That's what we are going to think of them as. Okay, we're going to think of them for the purposes of this class as the same. However, if it's your custom, if you grew up hearing it this way, I don't have any problem with that, as long as you keep it consistent. Make sure that this always sounds like t, and this always sounds like s. Okay, that's totally fine. They're both valid. They're both valid. Don't let anybody ever tell you different.
History of the Shul, it changed when I was in second grade, when Rabbi Hilsenrath came.
What, he made it into what?
Ta, the ta. From the sata.
By and large, in America, that happened with the birth of the modern state of Israel.
Interesting.
It was a Zionist attempt to be in support of the new state. So they started teaching Hebrew with the same pronunciation here that was being used in Israel.
In my shul in Michigan, it was right after the 6-Day War.
Oh,
I went in 1 year and I learned the Ashkenazi way, and then the next year we were switching over.
Really interesting, very interesting.
We're in second grade.
No. In my Hebrew school, my sister, who's 4 years older than me, learned Ashkenazi pronunciation, and I was taught Sephardic pronunciation.
Oh, very interesting. All right, we're going to move on because I still have 14 slides and they're the most complicated ones. So let's keep going.
Get into that. It's the same
all right.
times.
Modern Hebrew. We did that. We did that. Okay. Now we're going on to the Siddur part of our. I actually had this set up for you last week, but we didn't get to it, so we didn't get to talk about it. So we're switching gears now. Let's talk Siddur. The Siddur that we use at our shul is what is called a complete Siddur for weekday, and Shabbat, and festivals. You will find plain weekday Siddurim. You will find Shabbat and festival Siddurim that are structured differently than this. But if you ever see a complete weekday Siddur with Shabbat and festivals, it's going to be organized like this no matter who publishes it. It starts, as we said last week, with the early morning blessings, the first words that you utter when you wake up in the morning. It will go on to do the morning service. Next, of course, will be the afternoon service, followed by the evening service. And then what our Siddur does is it'll go then jump straight to the Friday evening service. Now, what you may notice here is that the weekday services start with the morning. When it comes to Shabbat, it's starting on Friday night. So I think I don't really see any way how it couldn't. But just so you know, there's a change in structure. The weekday services are organized from the morning to the evening. Shabbat and festival services are organized from the evening through to the following evening. Is that clear so far?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's keep going. These are the page numbers. I'll send you guys this presentation so you can have all this. You don't have to write anything down.
Please.
So again, just to reiterate, we've got weekday services in our Siddur. We've got followed by the Shabbat and festival services. After all that, we've got a section of blessings for various occasions. And that section will include Birkat Hamazon. It has blessings for, what to say if you see lightning, or if you hear thunder, stuff like that, or if you see a rainbow, there's all kinds of blessings. And then at the end of our Siddur, there's other readings. Okay, there's four major sections of Sim Shalom.
You coming back?
Okay, so here's the same. Now, if we go into the weekday service, because we're going to start there with that particular structure, we've got the early morning blessings on page 2. Those typically are done at home, but if they're not done at home, the person will do them individually when they get to shul, before everybody starts. Usually, I didn't put it in here, but everybody will usually start with page 10, which is a list of, in Sim Shalom, which is a list of 10 or, I can't remember, I should know the number, but I don't. I think it's like 10 or 12 blessings all in a row. That's where the group prayer starts, the Tefillah Tzibur, the public prayer. That goes on to what is called the Pesukei de Zimra, the verses, which means verses of praise, which is followed by the Shacharit service. Those together constitute the morning service. And in Sim Shalom begins on page 54. The afternoon service, Mincha, begins on 164. And the evening service, Ma'ariv, begins on page 200. And again, these are all the numbers in Sim Shalom. But I just want to, we're just going through this to show you the structure, how things are actually organized in this book. Okay. They're in the order that they happen during the course of the day up to this point. Shabbat and festival services. We'll just go through this a little more quickly. It starts with the Friday evening service, which is composed of Kabbalat Shabbat and Ma'ariv. Kabbalat Shabbat is a special series of psalms from the book of Psalms that are added to the beginning of the Friday night service to kind of increase the level of sense of festivity that we have to greet Shabbat. It was added by the Kabbalists. It's not. It is a relatively recent addition. It's only been in the service for a few hundred years, but it's probably, you know, for many people, they consider it their favorite service of the week. A lot of shuls are packed on Friday night. Our shul actually happens never to have been packed since I've been here, unless there's an event. But in a lot of shuls, you know, their culture is based around the Friday night service, unlike ours, which is really based more around the Saturday morning service. No, there's neither one is either better or worse. It's just they're different shuls have different cultures. And just since I've been here, I've never seen, you know, particularly really major turnout for Friday night, much as I would love to see it, because frankly, it's the best singing of the week. If you haven't been to a Friday night service lately, please come, because not only do we need the people, but it's the best singing of the week. Shameless plug, sorry. All right, 334, Shabbat and festival morning service. Now, Shacharit is where this starts. But the Shabbat and festival morning service actually begins with Pesukei de Zimra, back on page 54, but a longer version of it. We'll get into that later, but you should know that that we start the Pesukei de Zimra on page 54. Now, what we've done since COVID has happened is we jump in, we start on actually page 336, which is traditionally when the Hazzan always begins the Shacharit service. Prior to the Hazzan starting the service for Pesukei de Zimra, for Birchot HaShachar and Pesukei de Zimra, the service is typically led by a lay person. Doesn't have to be, but that's usually the case. And then the Hazzan takes over at 336. We have on Shabbat an additional service, the Musaf, which literally means additional, an additional service that stood in for the additional sacrifice that used to happen on Shabbat. Shacharit and Musaf are typically done together, but they don't have to be. There's no law that says you have to do Shacharit, the Torah service, and jump right into Musaf. I have seen shuls where they'll have a break. They'll actually do Kiddush, go off and have a schmooze and some Danish, and then they'll come back and do Musaf later. After Musaf, usually people go home for lunch, do whatever they're going to do. They come back and there's the afternoon service, there's the mincha service, and the concluding service for Shabbat has some additional things to it before Havdalah. So that's the Shabbat and festival service portion of the Siddur. Now, I've said service a whole bunch of times, but really we have to ask the question, because when we're talking, I keep talking about the structure, right? But what is the structure? Where does, what is the basic unit? Like, if you're talking about physics, you're looking at the atomic structure. Like, what are the basic building blocks here? We used to think they were atoms or protons and neutrons. Now we've got quarks and muons and gluons and all this kind of stuff. But we need to know what the core of the Jewish service is, so that we can really find our way through it whenever we happen to walk in. So we know what we're hearing, and we know if what we're looking at in the book is before or after what we're hearing. That is not as hard to do. You don't have to know the Hebrew in and out to be able to do that, but you do have to know how things are structured. So Jewish services consist of the following. They consist of tefillah, and I mean this quite literally, a bunch of stuff before and a bunch of stuff after. And when I say tefillah, what I mean and what the rabbis meant is they mean the Amidah. They mean the standing prayer is the core of every service. Without an Amidah, you do not have a service. So, but you don't have an Amidah unless you've got some stuff before it and some stuff after it. Now, Amidah literally means the standing prayer. During a weekday, they will call it the Shmona Esrei, which stands for 18 blessings, even though it's actually made up of 19 blessings. We'll get into that another time. On Shabbat, it's only 7. On Shabbat and festivals, it's only 7 blessings. On high holy days, it's a whole other thing. But we're not getting into the high holy day stuff in this class. So for the morning service, we got a few more minutes. I want to show you. So I said a service is composed of tefillah and a bunch of stuff before it and a bunch of stuff after.
Right.
For the weekday morning service, that bunch of stuff before is the Birchot HaShachar, Pesukei de Zimra, and the Shema and its blessings. And the Shema is in and of itself composed of the Shema and some and 2 blessings before and a blessing or 2 after, depending on which service of the day it is. So everything is kind of focused around these central features. The overall service is focused around the Amidah. The Shema and its blessings is obviously focused around the Shema. So that's the morning service. The afternoon service, the stuff before is very, very short. It's just the Ashrei. And the Ashrei is Psalm 145 with 2 verses added to the beginning. That's it. It's the 2 verses added to the beginning, and the 2 verses added to the beginning are the verses that contain the word Ashrei 3 times. The rest of the psalm doesn't say Ashrei once. It's all in these extra verses that were added to it. But the bulk of it is Psalm 145. The evening service, the stuff before the Amidah, is Shema and its blessings. Okay? Now let's look at the stuff that comes after. Morning service, what comes after the tefillah differs depending on whether it's a Monday or a Thursday. If it's a Monday and Thursday, you'll have what's called the long tachanun. The rest of the week, it's a shortened version. Tachanun they're penitential prayers. Monday and Thursday, you'll also have a Torah service. Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, there will not be a Torah service. After the Torah service, you got your Ashrei again, something called Kedusha de Sidra, which we'll get into another time, Aleinu, and then a Psalm of the day. On an afternoon service, you'll have a short Tachanun, always the short one, followed by Aleinu. On the evening service, after the Amidah, you'll have the Aleinu. Why did I just go back? No, that's it. All right, so that's it. Those are the, that's everything that we have for tonight. Wow, it took exactly an hour. That's incredible.
Mike, is saying Kaddish an official part of the service after Aleinu, or is that considered part of Aleinu?
No, that's a great question. We didn't get into Kaddish. Kaddish is not a part of the service. Kaddish is a division within the service. We divide the various parts of the service that we just talked about with different forms of Kaddish. So between the Shema and its blessings, sometimes you would have a Kaddish, like a Chatzi Kaddish, a half Kaddish, or a reader's Kaddish. Sometimes you won't, depending on whether it's the morning service or the afternoon service, or the evening service rather. Evening service, you'll have a Kaddish between the Shema and its blessings and the Amidah. On a morning service, you go straight from the Shema and its blessings right into the Amidah without a break. So the Kaddish is a break between the parts of the service, and we will take a deeper look at that when we dig into the various services and what prayers are in them and how they're called. So that way we'll start to we'll drill down deeper into each service each week that we meet over the next few weeks. And if we don't finish, we can always pick it up again and dig even deeper, because I'm sure we'll all probably want some more Hebrew practice. But we'll see what happens at the end of 6 weeks. Any questions that anybody has right now? Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is a conservative service order. Is it also an Orthodox order, and is it a Reform order too, or do people take things out? This is just our shul does it this way, or?
What I've just presented to you is the structure of the traditional Jewish service, whether it's a morning, afternoon, or evening service. When you get into what's happening in the Reform world, I can't really tell you what they're doing necessarily, because they're not doing the traditional thing all the time. They will generally follow the structure, but their services are going to be so abbreviated, or they may have English readings thrown in, and it's not gonna feel the same. But the service that we do at our shul, the services I just described to you, are exactly the same as what you would experience at any Orthodox shul from Mea Sharim all the way to AA. That these are the parts, the features of any traditional Jewish service. What will differ between something, say, what we do and what they might do in an Orthodox shul is that in the conservative, what they call matbeya just means the words of the prayers. In the conservative matbeya, some words have been changed to reflect different theological understandings that we have in the conservative world that are different from the Orthodox world. There's the biggest one that I can think of off the top of my head is Tikanta Shabbat, which is part of the Musaf, the Shabbat Musaf prayer. It's right after the Kedusha, and in that prayer, we are basically talking about the prayers that our forefathers made, that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob made, the sacrifices that they made. But in Orthodox Siddur, they don't talk about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob having made them. They talk about us still making them. So the conservative movement changed certain words for theological purposes, added words, took away words. One really good one, if this was a class in liturgy, we would talk about the Aleinu. There's a line missing from the conservative Aleinu. That's if you look at it, you'll see it was quite controversial in its day. It's still in every Orthodox Siddur, but they took it out of the conservative Siddur because it talks about basically spitting on your enemies and grinding them into the dust. And we didn't want the authorities in the countries where we were living thinking that we thought those kinds of things. So a lot of places removed it from the Siddur, and we kind of removed it because it doesn't reflect our, our theological perspective anymore. For some people it does. I mean, if, some people still say it. I've actually repurposed it for myself, but I don't want to get into it too much because we can talk about it another time. Anyway, any other questions? We're over a few minutes, so I want to wrap up. No? Did everybody follow everything? Was everything clear? You got something out of this tonight?
Very much.
Thank
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent. So your Siddur homework is just to go through the Siddur and check out what we talked about tonight. Start looking through it and look at the table of contents. Each section has its own table of contents. Look at those sections. I'll send you the presentation and you guys can take a look on your own. But again, focus on the Hebrew, get the brainscapes going, and for Ann and Alan, I'll do something so that you can still practice that stuff even though you can't get into the app. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good night.
You
See you on
too.
Shabbos.
Deep
Bye.
throat.
Bye-bye.